Welcome back to the Civilnet podcast. It's actually fitting that we are on our first recording of the year 2025 with a guest in front of the show, Kev Orkian.
I didn't know it was first recording.
Indeed it is.
Oh,
indeed it
fantastic.
is. British stand-up comedian and hated by Simon Cowell.
Very much so. It's such a good thing to have on your CV as well, that
Simon Cowell hated
Oh,
you.
yeah, hell yeah.
He's the guy who's famous for being famous. Like, what does he do ever?
Well, you know what? I mean, let's be honest, right? You got to give credit where credit's due. The guy is a good entrepreneur. He came up with a great idea for a TV show. He fought and fought and fought, and he got it on the platform. It was all to do with Pop Idols at the time. From Pop Idols, he then went on to Britain's Got Talent. Then he went on to the X Factor, and he's made it a massive franchise. It's brilliant.
Yeah, fair enough. Hopefully he'll come here and judge what we'll be talking about
No,
today.
we don't
right?
want him to judge. No, forget that.
So we're here today because you're actually filming the first ever American romantic comedy filmed in Yerevan, set at Christmas time.
Yep.
What is going on? What happened? Walk us through this.
Dude, I don't know. No, I do know. It's Angela Asatrian, who's a brilliant, director, creative, writer, and producer. She's so good at what she does, and we had a conversation here in Armenia actually, and she said, look, I'm really excited about wanting to do a rom-com. I want to do this, and I want to give you a role in the movie. And I was like, I'd love that. I'd really love that. So there's me thinking, the good looking, the attractive guy that the girl marries, and this and that. And she said, can you be the uncle? So I was like, okay. And it's perfect casting for me because it's a great role. It's a comedic role for me. So I love it. I mean, it's got everything that the character needs, from becoming this whole kind of like doubting uncle who comes in and out of the house. He's the one that always pretends he's like in charge of everything, but he's in charge of nothing, And the whole relationship with his wife and his daughter is just brilliant. The whole story really it embodies actually what Armenia and the traditions of Armenia are about.
So how do we mix this, like the significance of it being an American production in Armenia itself? I mean, you mentioned, right, it showcases what Armenia is about.
Yeah.
Is this towards an American audience, and why? What's the significance?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. So, I mean, there's a lot of Armenian in there because naturally we speak in Armenian when we like you say pass the food or try this delicious cuisine, and maderet kudes as banirin hamova, and then you say things like this and whatever. Everything has its context in it, but the whole movie is actually based around a young lady who just wants to find her creative soul in Armenia, and she comes to Armenia where her uncle, her auntie, her cousin, family members, they're all here, they all live here, and she comes here to basically find her roots, find out more about where she came from, and the creative aspect of her life, which is about writing music that's real to her. So she comes here, and some of the shots that I have not even been involved with, I've only seen images, things like playing the guitar on top of Cascade, overlooking Mount Ararat with a sunset in the background. I mean, these are the kind of things that once the movie's finished and Angela's vision, it becomes a reality, it's going to go worldwide, because they want to get this on social media platforms, they want to get it on streaming platforms. It's all about highlighting Armenia in a really positive light and in a really creative light. You've taken all that in. I can see you've taken all that in now.
Well, I'm just shocked. I thought it was going to be like the Armenian Ocean's 11, but
to be honest, I think we should be doing one of those. Actually, we should actually look at. You should be in it. You should be in it. We should do an Oceans. We should do an Oceans movie.
I'll be the Brad Pitt to your George.
Okay, I'll be the George. Definitely, you be the Brad. I think, and actually, we could actually get away with that.
Yeah,
we could.
You've got the salt and pepper hair.
Thank you.
The rugged masculine.
And you've got the Brad Pitt good looks and the striking view. I think we could do it, brother.
I think we can pull it off.
Yeah.
We'll talk to Angela when she's done this production.
Absolutely.
So, what were some of the hurdles that you guys have encountered producing in Armenia?
To be honest with you, I've only been here for, say, 2 or 3 days, not even. So for me, the hurdles have been more, believe it or not, the electrics cutting out. So we, like, in the middle of about to start filming, everything goes, and you're like, oh, okay, everyone hold fire. And then you're literally hanging around for 15, 20 minutes before it all comes back on again. So there is that challenge aspect of it. I was worried, actually, that I needed to drive here as well, and I haven't really driven in Armenia.
For the car chase scene, obviously.
Obviously, yeah. But there's a great scene where I actually go to pick up my niece, and there's a whole scene where I'm driving through town and this and that, and then the visions of Ararat in the background and Kaskad and this and that. And I was like, oh God, I don't really want to do this. And it turns out I don't have to do this. I'm in a car. The car is spectacular. You have to see it. It's fantastic. It's got like bullhorns on the side and everything. It's brilliant. But they're actually putting it on a trailer, so I don't actually have to drive. I just have to pretend I'm driving.
God.
So, thank God, yeah.
The people of Yerevan are very grateful.
And I think they would be. If I got on the roads, it wouldn't be safe, I don't think.
Yeah, I'd be worried too.
Yeah.
So tell us, we mentioned what's Armenian about this production. What's American about this production? Do we have American actors?
Yep.
What's going on?
So it's based. The story is based out of America, and it's the relationship between this girl and her music, and how she basically comes over. Her name's the character name is Liana. She comes over to Armenia. So you've got the connection of this girl flying from America to Armenia, and then the music producers are in America. So she's being kind of, I suppose, in a way forced to find her creative side, and she struggles in America to find that, because being an Armenian girl and with the aspect of what's going through her blood, her DNA, she then comes to Armenia to discover that. And she does. And she discovers not only the music, but a relationship. She discovers family. She discovers so much about herself. So it's like, I suppose in a way, it's a hidden story. It's like a subconscious story of, there's a lot of American Armenians in America. I mean, all over the world, but we're talking about America right now. But in America, who have never stepped foot in Armenia.
Yeah.
And it's like, guys, this story is about one person coming here and literally opening an entire plethora of creativity, history, tradition, and culture. Now, you guys are in America. You claim to be Armenian. Why not come and actually see what you're about? And I think that's also part of the story.
What's crazy about this is that, the foreigners that come here will go about raving about this country, right? So we had there's an ambassador from a European country, which will remain nameless, and this ambassador was outgoing and told a good friend of mine, if you don't fall in love with this place, there's something wrong with you.
Yeah.
So with that in mind, what do you hope this movie is going to achieve in terms of tourism, awareness, putting Armenia more on the map?
You know what? That's a really good question, because you and I have stumbled upon this question a few times, and I love it when you ask. I think, to be honest with you, I think tourism has. It's on the rise here. There are people.
You can feel it. You can see
you
it.
can feel it, and so much so. Hand on my heart, this happened this morning. I was sitting having breakfast this morning, and I got a text message on my WhatsApp, and it's from a lady that I've not spoken to minimum 8 years. Okay, and she comes in and she goes, "We live in Dubai, as you know." She said, her name's Fiona, and she said, "Me and my husband have just booked a skiing trip to Armenia."
Wow.
And she said, we're coming to Armenia. Is there anything you can recommend that we'll go and see and do? And I just went, yeah, first and foremost, go and see my documentary. It's on Amazon. Go and see Armenia Uncovered, because that shows you all the historical places you need to go. Then go and see some of my friends here, to connect with them. Go and see the restaurants, the wines, the culture, the history, the food. Experience it and do it so that you understand what we are all about. So these are people that I would never have contemplated them coming to Armenia, but they're all coming over here and doing it. So for me, I think the movie has to reflect that. Coming to Armenia, seeing the settings, the views, the buildings, the culture of it. I think it's so important, and I think we need to be making more movies like this. Forget the fact that the movie is actually a brilliant script and it's a great rom-com. What I find really important is what else you get subcontext from that movie, which for me is, well, look at the view, look at the stuff, look at the culture, look at the people. You're coming here. You're not coming on a holiday destination. You're coming to a place that you don't then want to leave. That because it's so full of everything that no other country can offer you. And in my humble opinion, that is a categorical fact. Sun, sea, beach, and all that. If you're coming for that, then there are places you can go, and there will be finer places around the world for that. There really will. Yep. But you come here for food, culture, camaraderie. you know, tradition, everything that belongs to that historical aspect of the world that's missing today. I truly believe that's missing today. Families are broken because of the traditions that they don't follow anymore. Families are broken because they have forgotten how to be a family. And I think when you come here, you can be a stranger and you'll leave as part of the family. And I think that's really important.
Yeah, that's by far, of all the countries I've lived in, one thing that really shocked me was how quickly you can go from just complete strangers to really close in Yerevan. I mean, you and I met in the streets, right? Next thing you know, you're at my house eating my food. I mean, it's just,
okay,
I couldn't get rid of you.
Calm down. Yeah, I know. It's like, you sound like you're really upset by it, but I have to be honest. I saw you on the street. We literally exchanged details there and then. And your kindness with your beautiful wife and your family as well. And I was like, oh, this guy's amazing. Next thing I know, I'm sitting in the same room. we're doing a podcast. Then every time I come back, and we said this before we even said, every time I come back, I have to do this podcast with you, because if I don't, it's a pilgrimage, because my visit to Armenia is not complete unless I see you and do a podcast here. It's great.
No, it's definitely, there's something unique in the air in this country, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And I'm really hoping that this movie actually captures it. Can you tell us a little bit about, I mean, you kind of hinted at it, you implied some of the storyline, especially for the main character, but what's the whole, can you give us the breakdown of the movie without ruining everything?
Yeah, sure. Well, I mean, I can give you the breakdown of what I'm doing in the movie, because I think that's part of what this story is about, and that's why I'm here. For me, I've moved. So my storyline is the fact that I've moved from America, originally Canada, then I lived in London, and then I've moved to Armenia. That's the storyline for me and my wife, who's the character name is Karine. She and I, with our daughter Sophia, or Sophie, come to Armenia, and we live here. I have a tech company, and I run it here. So I make a point that my best life that I'm living right now is here in Armenia. The fact that my tech company is thriving is because I'm here. So my storyline is the fact that I moved everything from having a great life in Canada, again, a great life in London, and now I'm having a spectacular life in Armenia. So my storyline very much is all about why I've done that. So I've come here, I'm living the life, you know, I'm doing what I enjoy doing. I'm eating the food, I'm drinking the wine. We talk about the Armenia region and all the historical, you know, the oldest winery in the world. I mentioned that during my speech. So for me, that's really quite important to kind of educate people who watch the movie about why I did what I did. And then it's about how it doesn't matter where you come from around the world, your traditions are very much elevated here. So you basically do the big dining table with all the horovads and the hummus and the tabules and the dolmas and this and that, whatever. And it's a table full of food. And it doesn't matter who comes to the table, like you did for me when I came to your home. I was a stranger to come to your house, and you made me feel like I was like your cousin, and hopefully not uncle, but your cousin. And I was there, and I was eating, and I was enjoying a good wine with you. And that's what we're trying to relay across to a new audience out there. So basically take My Big Fat Greek Wedding, the movie, and now the narrative, put it to an Armenian version of it, and then add new sets of characters, new set of storyline, and actually add a culture that is very different to Greeks or Cypriots or French or Italians. It's a culture that has such historical significance that the movie will give you that as you watch it.
I find these movies, they can either be extremely cheesy, which I hope this movie is not the case, but they also tend to make you feel closer to certain cultures. Like you mentioned My Big Fat Greek Wedding. There was nothing in that movie that was alien to me as an Armenian, right?
Yeah,
I'm
totally.
watching all the things they're doing. I'm like, that's us. Like we have so much in common with these people.
Yeah, totally.
And that's kind of what that movie achieved, right? It was so relatable. Mm-hmm. It was unique, and that's why it went kind of viral.
Yeah.
But it was so relatable, and I'm hoping that this movie will achieve the same.
Yeah, me too.
What's the who's the American love interest, or is there a former American love interest, and then she comes here and perhaps falls in love with a Kjartu sporting a Adidas tracksuit and realizes that's where her heart lies.
What's the love? Where does the romantic element come in
here?
I think the romance is actually with her music. I think, everything else, I think is second nature. She's got a relationship, or she's building one, and you'll see some of that in this movie. But actually, the main relationship here is finding herself within this context. So it's being in America, being this great musician, guitarist, pianist, singer, and not hitting that real me attitude there, but then coming to Armenia and finding such incredible roots, history here, that it triggers in her head exactly the kind of music she needs to write and exactly the kind of music that she wants to present back when she goes to America.
Time for the big reveal. I'm excited to watch it. What is the movie called, and where will we be able to catch it?
Okay, so it's called A Winter's Song. And at the moment, there's a lot of exciting opportunity to get it on streaming platforms. So we're talking the usuals, as you can imagine, from Netflix through to Amazon Prime. There's a lot of negotiations being done. That at the moment isn't confirmed, but there is a lot of press out there for it and a lot of marketing going on. And I believe there's going to be red carpets both in LA, in Europe, and in Armenia and Dubai, I think.
Amazing. A Winter Song will be on the lookout.
A Winter Song, yeah.
And Fiona, if you're watching this, you better come skiing in Yerevan. We're waiting for you.
Definitely. Definitely.
Thanks again, Kev, for coming on and talking to us about this awesome movie. I'm excited to see it.
Okay, just want to say one thing. I love you. I love everything you stand for. I think you're an awesome human being. But I just want to make it official and let everyone know that he still hasn't invited me to his house for another dinner. Never happened. That hasn't actually happened.
I've run out of food last time.
Whatever.
I can't run out. Inflation, I can't afford.
Unbelievable.
Thanks again for watching the Civilnet podcast. And thanks again, Kev, for hopping on.
Love you, brother. God bless you.
See you guys soon. Happy New Year.